So, first of all, Happy New Year to everybody since it's January 2nd as this is coming out. Hallie and I are going to ring in the new year here.
We are actually back in time. We are in
Yes.
2025 and you are in 2026. And I hope it's good.
I hope just like at midnight, like lots of things happen that are just really positive overall. That's what I'll say.
I was really curious how hard you were going to go with that. I was like, what's she going to say?
If you know, you know. And if you don't, you don't. And I have not said anything incriminating, but I hope 2026 is magical.
Magical. Yes.
Yes. Also, side note, all of the things that are like the threads that'll be like, if it happens on Christmas, I will go to church all of 2026. I just love that all of us know what we're talking about and also aren't talking about it.
Right. We all just know it. Yeah, exactly.
We know.
Yeah.
But yeah, besides that, I do hope 2026 is great. And we were going to talk about some of our reading and writing goals for 2026. And per usual, I'm sure we'll talk about anything we've read or watched as well.
Definitely. And I wanted to also, Happy New Year, Kate. I wanted to also see, what are your New Year's plans? And do you have any New Year's or New Year's Eve traditions that you like to partake in?
I do not.
You were like, in fact, no.
Yeah, this is like, I don't have the best answer for this. We typically stay home. And it kind of depends. Sometimes there are those fun New Year's, like, I'm trying to think. It didn't happen last year, I don't think. But like sometimes like podcasters we like or like people we actually like will kind of do like they'll go live on YouTube. And that's always fun. But I don't know if anyone I follow is doing that.
Yeah.
So I will have an edible, that's for sure. But that might be why I don't make it to midnights every year. So.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like we eat pizza often. Maybe that counts as a tradition.
I like that.
I don't know. It's like, it is momentous. And I do like, being like, okay, it's 2025. Wow. Yeah. 2026. Like, what do I want for 2026? So like, I like that part, but it's never been like super important to be awake at the exact moment that it changes, basically.
I agree. Yeah. New Year's Eve is like my least favorite holiday because at like 12:01, I'm done. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I'm like, wrap it up. I want to be in bed. I'm over this. Like, yeah. Let's go. But I do have a couple of traditions and I do have plans that I'm excited about this year. So my family and I have a tradition where towards the end of the year, it doesn't have to be like the New Year's Eve, like, but just towards the end of the year, we go together through all of the things that happened that year. So like everybody kind of like breaks down like their year and talks about like, oh, in January I went here. And it's kind of a nice way to relive your memories and to kind of like really like think about the year as a whole and what happened. And so I'll do that with my parents over the phone at some point, which will be fun. I have a friend coming in from New York, who is one of my best friends from grad school. And she actually, her name is Olivia Bakker-Pritzker. She started a very cool feminist horror press called Creature. She's no longer with Creature, but she was one of the co-founders of it. And they are a small press that published by women and folks identifying as women. Very cool stuff. So look them up. One of I think their most famous title, I'm sure you've seen it everywhere, Kate, Goddess of Filth. That title really
saw it recently,
and that's one of their books.
Nice.
And so she's coming into town. We are going out to dinner at this place near my house. As I'm saying this, I'm like, should I be disclosing where exactly I live? But like, whatever. Your podcast listeners are good people.
We don't know where your house is, so it's still relative.
Yeah. It's like an old school steakhouse called Dear John's in Culver City in LA. And like Frank Sinatra was one of the founding backers of it. And so you like go inside and it feels like you're very in the 60s. So we're going to get dressed up and we're having what we call Mob Wives New Year's Eve, where like the whole aesthetic is going to be like very Mob Wives-y. And we're going to go fancy steak and like so
fun.
That'll be fun. Yeah. And then what I usually like to do is I usually like to watch Goodfellas in bed on January 1st, but I don't think I'll be doing that this year. But That's usually my
I love that. Yeah, those work. We didn't really do anything growing up either. I don't know if Tyler's family really did either. I don't think so because we've never made a big deal out of it with his family. But yeah, I mean, staying in, that's how I celebrate all kinds of things. But your version sounds very fun too. There's nothing cool enough nearby, but that sounds fun too.
Well, and what I like about it is that it's like, it's close enough to my house that I can be like, okay.
Oh yeah.
You know, like I don't have to like deal with getting a taxi or, you know,
yeah,
being like, oh, it's going to be another 45 minutes before I can get home. I can be like, see you later.
Just go.
Yeah.
Just get yourself home. I love that. So Goddess of Filth, have you read it before I forget?
I have not actually read it.
Okay.
I know of it. I know the premise. I believe it's these young girls do a seance and call forth like an ancient, I believe it's like Aztec goddess. Who kind of is like a destructive goddess that empowers them too. I think that's if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like it's a novella. 156 pages for anyone who wants a quick read. Okay. Cool. I had it pulled up, so I was like, I need to circle back on it, but that's cool. I love that press too.
Yeah, it's super cool.
I need to read more of their stuff. Did you, since the last time we talked, did you see Hamnet? I did not. I could not make my wheezy self go cry. It was just not, it was also not the time to go see it when I was sick already.
I agree. I didn't see it. I did want to see it. I still want to see it.
I know, I do too.
Everything I've heard about it is that it's fabulous and it's a tearjerker. And so I keep just having to be like, is today the day? And it's like, today is not the day.
I know. It's just like that's just a lot. And I'm sure it'll be easier when it's available at home. I do prefer seeing stuff in theaters, but
me too.
Life hack for anyone who does have any kind of noise canceling headphones. You do get closer to the movie experience if you use noise canceling headphones. So I've kind of decided that's probably what Hamnet is going to be for me at some point. So yeah, I didn't see that one either.
I feel like there's a trend. So I watched 3 movies while I was home with my parents, and
nice.
They were all 2.5 hours plus long films. And they all, I think, kind of like earned it, but I'm sort of like, guys, it needs to earn it. Like, does The Housemaid need to be 2.5 hours, or could it be a tight 90 minutes that like gets you in, gets you out, that like the pacing is part of why we're here, I would imagine. It. I don't know, but
I know. I don't get it either, because I'm fine. Like you're saying, there are plenty of 2.5 hour movies where I'm like, that was amazing and worth it. Or especially the 2 hours, like I understand that, but there are some that just need to be 85, 90 minutes, and that's okay.
And that's not a dig. And I feel like some of it is like trying to be like prestige laden and trying to be like, you know, like I think we're more out of it now, but for a long time we were in the golden era of TV, and part of that was about like, you know, elongating storytelling and and so I think sometimes movies picked up on that, and I'm like, but some of them should be short, tight, and punchy, you know, like that's what we want.
Yeah. I'm always going to think of Strange Darling, because it's like 95. I think it's like 95 minutes. And that was exactly how long it needed to be.
100%. Totally agree. Longer.
Challengers might be the same way.
Okay. Challengers could have been 6 hours though.
But yeah, we would have allowed Challengers to be longer.
Speaking of Josh O'Connor, as I always do, I did see Wake Up Dead Man. Have you seen it?
Yes.
What did you think?
I loved it.
I loved it too. I thought it was so good.
Yes. I it's my favorite of the trilogy.
True. It felt really like it was very funny. Like there were a lot of very funny pieces to it. I thought they did a good thing. Like it reminded me kind of the movie Heretic that I know we've talked about. I did not feel like there were a lot of questions raised about faith and like what it is to be like a good man or like a good pastor or like a good practicer of faith. But like, I didn't feel like they were taking undue punches at religion. Like, you know, Josh O'Connor is the heart of that movie, and he is somebody who like sincerely believes. And like, I thought it was was beautiful.
I agree, because it's like, obviously it's no secret to anyone who's been listening, I have been on a quest to find the loving Christians of America. And they do exist. So I love that, like, his character, not only sexy, also really did get into ministry because he wanted to connect with people and help people. You've probably seen it all over the internet, but like the scene where like they're about to figure something out and then the woman he's talking to is like, "Can you pray for me?"
Yeah.
I was in tears.
Me too.
I was like, "Oh, this is it. This is what it's supposed to be about."
Yeah, like, and they do a very like smart choice with the blocking. He like closes the door, like it's this like private moment, and it's beautiful. It's beautifully rendered.
Her acting was stunning. I saw someone talking about like this is like an argument for the like no small parts that we talk about, where like her performance really brings it to life too, just as much as his.
I think that moment made the movie, you know, like I think
so too.
Movie, it's like it doesn't necessarily advance the plot as much, but it's like, I mean, it does a little bit actually, but like it's really about like, this is what the movie is. This is like the heart of the movie, the soul of the movie.
Yeah, I think that scene, and then the scene, oh my God, the way they use lighting is like a whole thing that I could probably talk about for an hour itself. But that scene where Benoit Blanc is sharing like his perspective of like very controlling religion, which is something people use religion for.
Totally.
It's like shadowy and dark. And then Josh O'Connor's character says what it means to him, and the lighting becomes angelic and golden and beautiful. And so like, even on a technical level, this movie is fantastic.
Oh, absolutely. It's so good.
So good. And the way that they changed the perspective about women and how it was a woman judging her for the most, I was like, oh, they nailed it.
All of that was great. Like the framing device like that they use for it, that like you eventually come to see like what it is, like all of it. It just was like really masterfully done.
I loved it. I need more.
Our boy Josh O'Connor, you know?
I know. I love it. He's everywhere and he deserves it. He was in a lot of movies this year.
I know. I'm dying to see The Mastermind. I haven't seen it yet, but
I hadn't either. Need to watch it.
Yeah. And then I also watched One Battle After Another. Have you seen that one?
Oh, yes, I have. Okay. So how did you feel about it? I think I'll just say like my first like line. It makes you uncomfortable. And to me, I feel like it should. Yeah. And that's how it functions. I understand how some people think it fetishizes Black women. But like, I think that was the point in my opinion. Like, so I've seen that discussion. For me, I'm like, you were supposed to feel uncomfortable. Like that was not the winner of the movie.
Totally. I love Paul Thomas Anderson. I mean, Boogie Nights is like one of my all-time favorite films. And like, my friend who's coming to visit today, like a couple weeks ago, I texted her and I was like, have you seen Boogie Nights? And she was like, yeah, but not for a while. And I was like, well, we're probably going to have to watch it while you're here. Just like that. Beware, if you ever come stay with me, there will be like film assignments.
Watching.
Last year she was with me when the fires broke out in LA. And so there was like nowhere for us to go. And she was like, I don't know. I put on Gladiator because she hadn't seen it. And she was like, I don't know that I want to watch it. And I was like, I'm so sorry. We will be watching Gladiator. Yes. I really liked it. It's
not like a 10 for me.
No, me either. And it won't become like my favorite movie. There was a lot I liked about it. Leonardo DiCaprio was in fine form as his sort of like, he plays like disheveled and panicking as sort of like his good range, I think. And then Sean Penn was terrifying. My favorite was probably Benicio del Toro, who was just like,
loved him.
Just like a calm presence the whole time he was there. Was just like, we're going to be okay. You know, it was great. Yeah. I really appreciated a couple things about it. One, part of it was filmed where I grew up. So some of the shots in like the Redwoods, it was like big news for a couple of years ago where it was like, Leonardo DiCaprio. And so when they're in the high school, that was a local high school. He's like the Backden Cross place. Not all of it, actually. Like some of the shots that were there, I was like, that's definitely not. But there were different parts of it that were filmed up there when he's running through the grocery store to get to the payphone and he can't remember like what time it is, the code.
Yes.
That was my grandmother's grocery store. So he's running through it and I was like, that's Murphy's. Like I used to go pick up.
So cool.
So that was really cool. And then I really appreciated, it felt like they did a thing that I thought worked for me. I could see it maybe not working for other people, but like, they didn't slow down to like give us the whole mythology of what happened. Like it clearly was like a version of America that's very similar to ours, but like slightly maybe more in the future. And they didn't like slow down to tell us all of that. You kind of learned it, you know, like there's this outcropping of nuns who are like vegetarians and they're also like smoking weed and like teaching you how to use a paca, you know, like there's all these kind of like different parts of this world that's become like fractured and militia, you know, there's all these little militias, but they're not like, you're kind of just in it. You're not like slowing down to be like, oh, this is what happened to America and it's now divided into all these different sections. You're just like with them. I thought that worked for me.
Yeah, I liked that a lot, that part of the storytelling. Yeah, so there are a couple of things. Lately I've been seeing all these takes of why it was so insensitive in so many ways. So that's why some of this may sound like a defense for me. Obviously, you know, like I'm white. I have not lived the experience of what his biracial daughter would, or the black activist that he was working with. So I understand that I could be wrong is what I'm trying to say. There were a couple of things that stuck out to me. One, the dad is not a hero. Like, we're very aware of the fact that he's just trying to forget everything that happened and not do much. So even though like Leo is the big face on the wall of faces trailer poster or whatever, he's helpless.
Yeah.
So I kind of liked that, because what I also thought was impressive, what you just said about Benicio del Toro, obviously jump ahead a couple of minutes, we're kind of getting into spoilers. Was with the Benicio del Toro character. So when he has to basically hide with him now because the president is sending the National Guard, I believe, literally to occupy a city. That was wild.
Yeah, I know.
The day that I saw that movie, I came out, got in my car, got on Threads because I can't help myself. And it was the day that our real administration in America sent ICE and the National Guard to literally descend on that apartment complex in Chicago. And they were zip tying 3-year-old children when it was like freezing overnight. So I literally saw this movie where something similar happens, is essentially, if you're listening at this point, you've seen the movie. So the president sends whatever to this area. And so Leo's character, I can't remember anyone's names at this point anymore. Yeah. You can tell he has zero clue what to do. And like, he is freaking out. Like you're saying, he's panicking, he's flustered. There's all of that. And Benicio's character, like you're also saying, so freaking calm. And then when they're walking through the halls,
so good.
Same thing. He's still freaking out. Benicio's like, essentially is like, as another Tuesday for me in America was the vibe I was getting there. And so then even when like, even the children in the halls are not freaking out. They're like, yeah, this is just what it's like. And we have this place, we'll go and be safe. And like when they all got like under the hatch and then he had to leave, I'm like, I felt like there were some very clear juxtapositions between how a white man is freaking out about this thing happening while we're seeing that like non-native Americans, I'm putting that in heavy quotation marks, they're just like, yeah, we kind of have to do this. And I thought that was pretty powerful.
I thought so too. And I'm with you. And it's like, that really stuck out to me both as like absurdist comedy. And I think you're right for making a point there, because also along with that, Leo is kind of freaking out and being like, you guys don't know this, but I was part of this militia gang. And like, I used to be somebody. And he's like, his whole narrative is that that's what's happening. And he's missing that there's this huge operation happening around him, that like Benicio del Toro is just kind of single-handedly running. And it's like, you go do this, you go do that. And he's just cool as a cucumber the whole time. And he never stops and goes like, wait, what are you doing? What is this about? Like, he's so in his own stuff. And like his daughter, which like, you know, is a good concern to have about where your daughter is at this moment. But he's like very wrapped up in his own business and totally missing that like this whole other thing is happening around him. And in fact, everybody else around him like has a better handle on what's happening than he does. And he's just so much like, I can't remember the password. Where's my phone charger? Like,
yeah, I thought the exact same thing. Like I was like, there's a very marked difference here in these experiences. And then Sean Penn's character is
evil.
Like my toes curl anytime I start talking about it. He is despicable. He's disgusting. And unfortunately, he exists in this world is the unfortunate part. Like,
yeah,
there are a lot of people like that, but I thought I have not been a fetishized Black woman. He is absolutely fetishizing Black women.
Whoa, yeah.
I thought it was a really, really good like display of sometimes it's kind of like how all the people that are so homophobic and then you find out they are gay.
Yeah.
I feel like it tackled this concept of like he's pretending like he hates Black women so much and like ew, gross, they're terrible. But he is like so attracted to sorry, what?
Oh, it's part of like the Christmas Adventurers Club, which is or wants to be, which is basically like the Klan, and yet like fetishizing these Black women. Yeah.
Yes, and like actually he's attracted to them, and instead of like he could have been better off if he had like maybe just been like examined that and decided I don't have to pretend like I hate them too. So there's that, but then even we're in spoiler territory. So all of that to me, I was like, I'm having a gross reaction. I'm not thinking this guy is a good guy. But this shows how intense the like hate, but can just be like the flip side. But then when like a big part of the tension in the second half, third act is about this group that he's a part of.
Yeah.
And they can't fucking know that he has a Black daughter because, and it was reminding me, I am not going to use the word, but being someone who loved that race as a white man. Oh, did I disappear? Right when I'm making this point. Okay, so for anyone watching on YouTube, it looks lower quality because internet, and probably because I'm having 40-mile-per-hour winds out there. So something probably went wrong in Whitestown. So weather and Wi-Fi are not vibing in Indiana here today. So a lot of the tension of the third act is about how you are even looked at as really bad, almost below Black people in these white supremacist minds. I want to be very clear. Everyone should not be above or below, but in a white supremacist's mind, you are almost worse than this race that they hate so much because you love that person or are attracted to them. So that was like the big takeaway from it for me too, is like almost his biggest sin was that he didn't hate them enough.
Right. Which is crazy because there was an awful lot of hate. No, I agree. And it makes me think of, I listened to a podcast episode a couple months ago of the show Dakota Ring. And it was about the use of the word cuck and how that like has like transformed over the centuries. But they got into this kind of theory, and I know there's a real name for it and I don't remember what it is, but like basically like to your point that you were talking about earlier, the people who are often very homophobic are also like might be gay or like experimenting or questioning in their own life, and like that it comes out, you know, like that we see these like really conservative Republican senators who then get caught in a bathroom with a man or whatever. They were talking about basically like the erotics of the other, and like the way that like if you look at the demographic of people who are swingers, it's like all Republicans, because it's about kind of subverting whatever you uphold as like the norm of what life should be or the golden standard, and that those two things in tension like feed each other, that you like feel like you have to perform this more, but then like, the shadow side of that is that like that's actually the thing that you want, is the flip side of it. So like you're like a nuclear family only looks like this, then often they wind up. And then they were talking about like the liberal version of that is that like liberal women are more predisposed to be into BDSM, like power play, which is like, you know, the opposite of what you're standing for is like a feminist or like wanting to like, you know, that there are these ways that like our shadow sides kind of like interplay with the things that we like uphold as like our face. I don't know. It's very interesting. And I think that's a huge part of like, and that felt very real in the movie. And again, I'm with you as a white woman. I don't think I'm qualified to speak on whether or not that was like a harmful trope or how that was done. But like, it did feel very real to me that he could be somebody who fetishized Black women so extremely while at the same time being like very racist and like very like active in those racist beliefs and like actions. And, like, I think we see that play out all the time.
I do think so. Yeah. And there, I think it's important to note there are also very healthy ways to engage with your shadow self, and then there are also very negative ways to engage with it.
And also, like, I don't care who you have sex with.
I don't know either.
As long as I care about like policies you're trying to enact that like restrict other people's ability to do what you want to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you ever watch Billions? It doesn't feel like a show that would have like really appealed to you. Obviously no shade. All of a sudden I was like, did that sound mean?
I know. I was like, okay.
It's kind of one of those things where like now I don't know if I would have gravitated to it, but like a decade ago I was like, there are so many shows I never got to watch.
Totally.
So that was really more about me than Hallie. But for the listeners, there's a similar setup where Paul Giamatti's character, he loves going and seeing a dominatrix, and then like that dominatrix character has a moment where she talks about like, yes, most of my clients are these extremely powerful C-level men, and it's like, but in this area they get to be like, oh, I don't have to be that here. So
100%.
Fascinating. Yeah,
totally.
But that's like, that can also be done in a healthy way, and like actually Billions, to their credit, explores it in the way that like it's pretty healthy.
Totally. And like, you know, I think you see that go together a lot. And my friends and I talk about this. Well, I have friends and I who talk about it. It comes up semi-regularly. You've heard of like financial dominatrixes?
Yes.
Like, yeah, they have clients and they're like, you're a little worm, pay me $1,500. And I'm like, how hard is it to get into that gig? Because that sounds great. I don't understand what men get out of it. I think it must be that like reversal power play for like very powerful men.
Yeah.
To like indulge something to get to feel like small or ordered or something. But I'm like, my Venmo is here for it. Like, let's go.
I know that one, and feet pics. I was just talking to one of my friends about that, because so frequently I'm like, Kate, you could figure it out. You figure out systems all the time. You could figure it out and make money from your feet.
Here, the foot pic market is oversaturated at this point.
Yeah, that might. And see, I never like get far enough to like learn that. So that's why, you know, I'm just letting the people who are already there be there. Totally. But I'm with you. If anybody listening who just happened to find us wants a financial dominatrix, I mean, hit Hallie up first because she brought it up first, but I will too.
Or if somebody has ever done it, teach us, you know?
Yeah, that too. I mean,
I'm happy to yell at men and tell them to give me money.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, insult them, ask for money. Like,
I'm already doing that on these mean streets. I'm just not getting paid for
it. Might as well profitize it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah. I mean, what I don't think anyone can say is that one battle after another is not fodder for conversation. It's kind of like book club fiction where you're like, you will have stuff to talk about though.
Yes, that's accurate. That is
and
very
obviously accurate. Clearly, please do correct me if I said anything insensitive. I would love to hear if I did, honestly.
Ditto, and or if there's other takes, I'm always interested in them too.
Yeah. You know? Yeah, we're open to it all. Speaking to what we're open to, or speaking about what we're open to, since we're in the future with the listeners and it's 2026, we're going to talk about some of our 2026 goals.
Yeah.
Why does my camera keep getting darker? I don't know.
Obviously, financial dominatrixing number one.
It's like, update your internet first.
Right. Yeah. Are you a person who does resolutions?
Definitely not resolutions, but I will just think about the things that I want to do more. We kind of approach like you are succeeding in life in general. You can tell my OCD is bad because I'm qualifying everything I talk about. In general, if each year we're doing more of what we want to do and less of what we don't want to do, then it like you are making or incremental moves forward, even if it doesn't always feel like it. So it's kind of more that like I've been thinking about like what would I do less of, what do I want to do more of, but I don't do resolutions necessarily. Do you?
Same. I think in my 20s, I was often very kind of resolutions based and kind of in part of that American optimization culture that's like you can always be better, you know, like and it's that I think for me could be very toxic and also like tied into like diet culture and all these different things in different ways.
I know, like the amount of ads is just like I've talked about I am using something to help with weight loss, but like we don't need ads. We don't need them just like beating us over the heads for 2 months.
I also this is a hard conversation. Like I think I want anyone to be empowered to make whatever decision is best for their body. Full stop. It's also hard as a person in a bigger body to be like I think there are ways that like this proliferation of weight loss drugs are like increasing fat phobia again. Like we didn't make
I agree.
We had made some because now
now some people are so skinny.
And it's like, quote unquote, more of a choice than ever to be fat, which is the way people have always looked at it through history as though, you know, it's a choice too. But now it is like, there is something you could take that would change that, you know?
Maybe. It doesn't even always work for everyone. But yeah, it is. It's enforcing that idea though.
Totally. Exactly. I'm talking more about the idea than the reality because like, you're right. It doesn't work for everybody. And we don't have a lot of research on what happens when you stop taking it.
Yeah.
Research so far is pointing towards you regain the weight in most cases, you know, because that's what our bodies are designed to do. Where was I going with this? Like now I'm like offloaded and I'm like, let's talk about this.
We can talk about it all.
But and I'm not blaming her for this, but it has been a bummer to see Serena Williams as one of the spokespeople for this, only from the point of view of like, again, what she wants to decide to do with her body is her body, her choice. She is the greatest female athlete who has ever lived, possibly the greatest athlete who's ever lived. Like she is one of the all-time greats. And it is a bummer to me to be like, even her body needs to be smaller, you know? Like, and again, there could be a million reasons she's taking it. There could be different things.
I do think it is like, I think she mentioned like, but I know that celebrities in general promoting it is what I think is like a difficult conversation or a difficult thing to be doing.
Or putting somebody whose like power is in being strong into an arena that is also like, not that it's not about strength, but it's like also about being smaller. Do you know what I mean? Like, and again, I'm not trying to aim that at her so much as like the advertising of it just makes me a little bummer. I love like, you know, more big, strong women.
Right. Yeah. It's not a fun time to be getting, I was even thinking about that. Like all of it, all the capitalism is in full force trying to make you feel bad about yourself in December and like sell you all the solutions in January.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it just, I just feel like, well, I guess you can. Normally you can say you don't want to keep getting an ad because which doesn't mean you never see anything. But I was about to be like, people need to at least be able to do that because I know it triggers eating disorders and all of that.
Yeah. And so all of which is to say, to return it to resolutions, I don't do resolutions because for me, it does feel like that sort of piece of like optimize yourself constantly, like 1% better every day or whatever that book is. But like, but like you, I like to try to think of things that I want to invite more of into my life and like spend more time doing. And I think that's kind of more what we're talking about.
That's what we're talking about. Yeah, definitely. My thing too is like, not that if you're a resolution person, it means you only choose things once a year. But I'm like, I don't want it to feel like something you think about once a year. Like I want to be thinking about this like all day, every day almost.
Totally. Yeah. And for me, it tends to be more about stuff that I want versus that I don't want. You know what I mean? Like, not like stop smoking. I mean, I don't smoke, but you know what I mean? Like, I try to do more of like, I want to spend more time doing XYZ, which naturally means that other things have to like take a backseat.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you have one that you really want for 2026?
Well, I'm kind of like doing it like backwards, which is that in 2026, I am basically on tap to be trying to write 2 big projects, which I can't fully talk about on air. But the way that I'm thinking about that is like, okay, then I need to be pretty disciplined in order to get through that. And I also need to be rejuvenating myself as an artist to make it through. Like I need this year to be, it's going to be really productive. So it also needs to be like very creatively inspiring and fruitful. So for me, one of the things that I'm trying to commit to is, if you've read The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron, one of the main things that comes out of it that everybody talks about is morning pages. And like, I do try to like to do those, but she also talks about that she thinks every artist should go on an artist date with themselves once a week. And that could be going to a museum or going to see a movie or doing something. And so I'm trying to commit to wanting to have an artist date every week with myself so that I can keep those feelings of inspiration high in order to set some aggressive goals. So for me, that might even just look like watching a movie every week that I actually watch, if you know what I mean. Like sometimes I'll have stuff on and I'm doing other things and I'm not sort of, but like carving out 2 hours to just be like,
yes,
I'm in this, I'm thinking of this, I'm absorbing it, I'm trying to see what it does for me creatively. Like it could even be as small as that, but like that's one of my big goals.
I love that.
Thank you.
It's always good to remind yourself to just do stuff you want to do too. Like once a week, probably a good goal in general. But then like you're saying, it also is like gonna inspire you or like make you think about things differently or whatever.
Yeah.
Bruce just like got up and left. Like he did not like what I said. He's like, I am done listening to you. I love that though. And you have all of the coolest dates, as we've discussed. Like, wasn't your like trip to the morgue?
Oh yeah,
kind of one of those. Oh, where were you going? The last time we were recording, you were doing something, a bus tour?
Yes. So I put together so back in COVID, for my friends and I, when we were trying to figure out what to do in April, when you were like in a little pod, I put together a true crime bus tour through LA, and we like started on the west side and made it all the way over to the east side. So there was, I think 3 or 4 of us in our car because we had all quarantined together. It was my roommates and my friend who lived by herself across the street. So everyone came to see us. And then we had a car of other friends who stayed in their car and socially safe distance away. So we would get to wherever we were going. We would park. I would call them. I would read off my little factoids about like what was happening at that stop. And then we'd like take pictures and then go to the next stop.
Oh, and so cool.
It was really fun. So, and it was like, I just remember, I mean, there was no traffic in LA because it was COVID. And, and early-ish COVID, there was nobody on the road. So like we got all the way across the city, which like you could not do now. So I had told some writer friends about it, Stephanie Roble, Amy Meyerson, and Amanda Pellegrino. And so they were like, well, we want to do that. And I was like, okay. So I put together just a West Side version of it. And we got to 10 stops throughout the thing. So we did that a couple weekends ago. It was really, really fun. And so I just drove us all around in my little car. We'd get places stop. We'd go out, take pictures, come back in, drive around a little bit. We stopped at, I took them to this, one of the cool things about LA. Kate's like, I didn't actually ask for a TED Talk, but
no, I did.
One of the cool things about LA is, it's a company town. Like historically, a lot of people who live here have worked in the industry. Not always like, LA, that's the stereotype about LA, and it's actually just like a huge city, but like it is one of the engines. And something that has happened, there are what they call storybook houses throughout LA that have been designed by production set designers from like in the 1930s and 50s. So there is this house in Beverly Hills called the Witch House, and it looks like a witch's house. Like you seeing it, you would not be like, I wonder what Halley means. You would be like, that's a witch lives there. And so people come out and take pictures of it all the time. There's also like a Hobbit house over in Culver City. Like there's all these different things. So we stopped at the witch's house, and I like pulled up the Wikipedia entry and was reading it. And there were some other women who were there taking pictures of the witch's house, and they came over because they were like, well, we want to know the history of the house.
Yes.
So they were like, what are you guys doing? And my friends were like, she's taking us on a true crime bus tour around LA. And they were like, do you do this on the weekends? And I was like, no, but
I do this for my friends.
I do this for my friends, and I will at some point figure out how to like share my little, I have like, now I've like collected all the addresses of all these places.
Oh yeah. Like, you could make like a Google map. Trail or whatever,
and just be like, you can, if you want to give me your email address so I can spam you when my book comes out, you can download this for free.
This is kind of a good idea. You could also like post it on your Substack.
Yeah. Well, my poor long defunct Substack. This. I need to get back.
This
on
is
that.
Like one, I can tell how much you enjoy it. This is like how we both get like hyper fixated on like topics and stuff like that. But two, it was reminding me of when I went to New York for before Thriller Fest back in January. We went to see Liz and Greg because their book published. But then like my sister-in-law was like, I don't know where we should go. Like, I don't even know. And I was like, well, I'll figure it out. So it was like, I was like looking at all of these like cool bookstores that we were like close to, like we were actually Upper West Side. But also we're kind of near Brooklyn. So basically in a very contained, like we could get there with subways. I like researched all the bookstores I wanted to go to for different reasons. And I put them on a map. And then I was like, okay, what would actually make sense for 2 days? And I just like built us a whole,
I love that.
Like bookstore. What do they call those? Like a
itinerary
bookstore crawl, like a bar crawl.
Love that.
And she was like, this is so cool. And I remember, because I went with a friend, and I remember she was like, I just feel so bad that I didn't even help with any of this, and like you just like figured it out. And I was like, girl, like this is my jam. I had fun. I got to just research.
Totally.
So
I love that
maybe
too.
we one day will combine our bookish true crime interests, and maybe we will do tours a la the Hurricane Blonde.
That would be very fun.
That would be very cool. So there's a 2026 goal.
There we go. And if you ever make it out to LA, I would gladly take you on my trip from bus tour.
That's kind of one of my goals. I need to get out there. Okay. Because I just know enough people now too. I think actually in LA, the only thing is maybe some of them are not actually LA, but they just say LA.
Well, LA area, you know, it's a wide and sprawling place.
Yeah, I have to make it happen. I don't need to get into the details, but we need to have an editor, and then that can, you know, let us do stuff. So
yeah, totally.
That's a whole other thing, but I do want to come there. I want to experience your tour.
I would love to take you. Yeah. I've now like refined it and honed it, you know, like
that's so fun.
Yeah.
Well, so speaking of travel goals, I guess I do know that I just want to get to LA. It doesn't have to be for an actual book conference. That one's just like there are enough people, and I've never been. And I watch so much reality TV, and I read so many books that take place there, and I've never actually been. So actually, even this is me in real time realizing one of our other co-hosts is from LA. Like, damn.
So you have lots of.
Yeah, Mackenzie's in LA as well. Yeah. Travel. But I think I want to go to the Montreal Mystery Festival. Cool. I think it's in May. And also like Gare will be there. This is the one that he went to earlier this year in May. So I think he's kind of like maybe not like a sponsor, but he's like I don't know what the word is. He's going to be there though.
That's cool. Is he like moderate any sessions or?
He did the first time, so I'm assuming he will again. And then I think it's one of the things where like he's been like reaching out to authors and being like, you should come here. So he must be some part of the organizing board now. Well, some version of that. DM Gare if any of you are like, I must know.
I want to go.
Yeah, I want to go. I think it'd be cool to go to Montreal. And then like we were just Gare and Steph and I were those words blur together if I don't say them like that. We're all talking about like maybe we could make it work and we would all go because basically Steph and I have met, because we live about 6 hours apart from each other.
Yeah.
And neither of us have met Gare still. So it would be cool to meet him there. So that's like
so
the
cool.
other travel goal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Later in the year, BocherCon is in Calgary. And I'm like, am I just going to go to Canada? Canada and California this year?
Canada.
Yeah. So I don't know. Those are the two I'm thinking of.
Very cool. I love that.
Do you go to like, because there's some LA ones, right?
There are some LA ones. So there's Left Coast Crime, which I think I haven't been. I've been to it twice. The last time I went, I don't think I've been to it since, was 2020. It was like, if the pandemic was declared a problem on March 13th, this was like March 12th. You know what I mean? Like we had started the conference. We were all in a like conference ballroom for the first day. And they basically were going through with us. They were like, we're just kind of waiting to see if the fire marshal tells us we have to disperse or not. And then like at the end of the talk, they were like, so they did just tell us we have to disperse. So everybody has to go home. So I was like, okay. So I just drove back to LA. It's like a 2.5-hour drive. But so that was the last time I went to that one. And then there's also the California Crime Writers Conference, which happens, I think, every other year. And I think alternates between, I've been to it twice in LA, but I can't remember if it alternates between Northern and Southern California, but that's a fun one too. And then I've been to BoucherCon a couple of different times. I usually tend to wait until it's a year where I have, like, for those big ones like Thriller Fest, or I've actually never been to Thriller Fest, but like BoucherCon, if it's a year where I have a book out, I'm more likely to go, because then you're kind of meeting people. And there's like they're expensive. They're not cheap, but they're great. I love sitting in on a conference session where they're telling you about, here's how to craft things more compellingly. Like, it is. I would love to be a student of writing craft forever. And I intend to be, so I love it.
That was Thriller Fest was very fun. And I got to meet a lot of people, but now I understand why people are like, it's so expensive.
Yeah.
Because it's like $750 for like a baseline ticket as a attendant or whatever. And I was looking at the Montreal one, it's like $70. I was like, oh, this is why. Like, that is significantly more. So like, I enjoyed it, but I don't know. It's like, if I could go if I could basically go to two different ones, like I think I'd rather.
It's not just, it's, whatever the conference fee is, that's expensive. And even if you're a writer who's on a panel and invited to speak there, they don't, you're still paying the same amount. And then it's also, I have to fly to New York.
Yes.
I have to pay for a hotel room in New York. I mean, it's like easily like cheap. a $500 trip, where you're like, I'm not going to do that every year, even though it's really fun.
I know. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see if we go anywhere, both of us. I'll go somewhere, I guess. Also, have you seen Jeanette McCurdy's Half His Age? The book.
Okay, I've seen the cover. The cover looks amazing. I don't even know. Is it fiction?
Yes.
Okay.
It's her debut fiction. She just announced tour dates, and one is in Chicago. So I'm going to go see her.
You should. And you should tell Lane. Lane would, I'm sure, go with you.
Oh, no shit. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
One of my non-travel goals, though, is, so a couple months ago, I posted about doing like a banned book club. We read a banned book one month or each month. And obviously the thing that gets the most difficult with book clubs, especially if they grow, is not everyone is going to be able to do like the same time. So I was like, I don't necessarily need this to be like a talking book club. For anyone who's listening, there's the Backlist book club and the Patreon link. So if you want to do a book club, we have a very fun group of readers. So there's that. But I wanted to also have something where it's like, that's not the only way to engage with a book. And Storygraph has a feature where you can set up, I can't remember if their terminology is buddy read or set up a book club around a book. So it's like you can pick what you're going to read, and it kind of like makes a forum for you, essentially. And it goes by like chapter. So it's like I could read all the way through and be putting all my reactions of like, what the fuck just happened? And then they can move through it as they move through it. And like they might comment when they get through that chapter, basically.
Cool. I like that.
yeah, I really like that feature. And I was like, that's how I should do it. So actually earlier this morning, I was going through and trying to pick, I'm going to post like a calendar. So like, these are the 12 books that we'll be reading in 2026, but also it's like really low key. And so if it's one you want to read and want to see our thoughts, like you can go here. So that's one of my other 2026 projects.
I love that. What are some of the books that are on your list?
Yes. So I'm trying to really get a good range of like lived experiences, I guess is the word that's coming to mind. Where did it go? I was just working on this. Okay, here we go. So All Boys Aren't Blue is one that I see on a lot of banned lists. It's by George M. Johnson. And like the short line is, in a series of personal essays, prominent journalist and LGBTQIA plus activist George M. Johnson explores his childhood, adolescence, and college years in New Jersey and Virginia. So you can imagine what he was up against, and you can imagine why some people are like, we shouldn't have to read this book. Yeah. Not just we shouldn't have to, they're like, get rid of it. Right. There's one called Dear Martin by Nick Stone. And so Boomtown was the book that Gare and I read. I mean, a lot of people read, and we actually interviewed her too. Cool. But I knew some of her that was her first adult fiction, and I knew some of her YA has been banned. And she has one that's called Dear Martin, and it's a kid writing, like a modern Black boy writing letters to MLK, like as if he could write them to MLK. What does it say here? I'm trying to think of, because I think he's in prison. Yeah. So Justice McAllister is top of his class and set for the Ivy League, but none of that matters to the police officer who just put him in handcuffs. And despite his rough neighborhood, he can't escape the scorn of his former peers. So yeah, I think he is writing to Martin while being under arrest.
Love it.
So I can only imagine how thought-provoking it is, especially after talking to her and kind of hearing about it a little bit. And then that premise itself, I think, is pretty fascinating. There is one called Gender Queer by Maya Kobabe. I think that's how I pronounce it. So this is in 2014, Maya, who uses AM air pronouns. At least it was the word pronoun I messed up, not their pronoun.
Actual pronoun.
Thought that a comic of reading statistics would be the last autobiographical comment. Maya Kobabe, who uses AM air pronouns, started writing air autobiography as a way to explain themselves to air family.
Love it. Love it.
So definitely, like, I think everyone's lived experience is everyone's lived experience, and I'm very intrigued to hear about anyone who just like feels a little bit different than everybody else. So
totally.
But yeah, then there's Monday Isn't Coming by Tiffany D. Jackson. I heard her talk about that one when I saw her recently, and that one's been banned too. But it's a Black teenage girl in high school. Her best friend just disappears, and nobody, like no adult she talks to, thinks anything should happen. And even like who the girl was living with, like no one cares that she's missing.
Yeah.
So that one I know will be, it's a very sad look at the way systems fail us, not us, fail others. But like that one, I have that one on there. Even then, like I haven't read Beloved by Toni Morrison yet. I think I need to read that one. I read The Bluest Eye, but I have not read Beloved yet.
Beloved is, I don't know, one of like the great books of America. Like, I mean, because it's doing so much. I mean, Morrison is just like an unbelievable writer, right? Like unbelievable wisdom writer, all of it. So much about, I mean, it's in a way, it reminds me of, this is like a strange thing to parallel it to, but like Sinner, where it kind of takes this like fantastical conceit to like reckon with the history of like subjugation and slavery in America. And like, it is just an unbelievable book. I am excited for you to read that one. Like,
yeah. I really, The Bluest Eye is amazing in it, the way that it talks about kind of like body dysmorphia, but also in the sense of if you're a Black girl seeing like the white ideal and the blonde hair and the blue eyes, like it's a racist level of body dysmorphia because you're like wanting to look like the people who are safe and seem more loved and seem accepted. But it's like also like what she's writing, it also connects a lot with any like body dysmorphia you've ever had, and
totally,
that one's fascinating too. But yeah, I do want to read Beloved. Kindred is what I was just
good,
I was telling Tyler about Kindred lately or recently, and I was like, it is the best use of time travel to make some points about how poorly Black people were treated for a very 100%. Long time.
And even ties into what we were talking about with One Battle After Another, whereas I recall she has like that ancestor who's kind of like very racist, but is also like obsessed with Black women, like loves Black women, but like in a very problematic way and in a way that subjugates them and like continue. But like it's, I don't know, it has definite connections to that for sure.
Yes, Rufus is not a good dude. But yeah, if the dual tension, for anyone who hasn't read it, because I don't think this, you find out within the first 10-15%, is like a woman from 1976 when America was gearing up to celebrate 200 years, which is important. Then she goes all the way back in time to 1776. No, not 1776. It's not 100 years. She goes back into the antebellum South, like right before the Civil War. But she ends up on the plantation of who are technically her ancestors.
Yeah.
And that does mean the master, because for anyone who did not know that the masters were raping their slaves, they were. So her lineage goes all the way back to an enslaved woman and that woman's master, essentially. So like you think Back to the Future is intense when it's like, oh, I can't change my parents' story, or I might not exist. This is like, oh, I can't save someone who's being treated this way, or I won't exist anymore. Like,
and also I cannot get caught in this time because I cannot live the rest of my life. And then she's also, as I recall, married to a white man in the 1960s, which is like also very interesting. Like it's a spectacular book. I loved that book.
So I just started Positive Obsession, which is someone's biography of Octavia Butler. And I just listened to the chapter because like she wrote journals like extensively for like 20 years of her life.
Love it.
And so she even was writing about how she was going to have her be with a Black man, but she could not realistically put a Black man in the South and keep him alive. Like she was like, I can't find any way where he would get to stay alive. Like if he couldn't pick up on how he was supposed to interact with people because he wouldn't have known he was in the past. And then the second he does, like they would just shoot him for not knowing. And I was like, that is so fascinating that a lot of that choice was because she was like, I couldn't. I was like, oh, which like adds to the themes of the book, actually.
Totally. And it's like, there's a darkness behind that choice. But then I also think that choice is so strong because it like the guy she's married to in the 1970s is not quote unquote a bad man, although he's a white man, so he understands the world a certain way, and then you bring it back into the past. Like it's like does all these really interestingly nuanced things to their relationship too, and like
it is a work of art. And Octavia Butler is now one of my faves of all time. I loved Parable of the Sower and Parable of the Talents and Kindred, and now I'm falling in love with her in her biography.
I love that.
She is so sweet. So yeah, those are some of the books that will be on that, and I'll post about it at some point so everybody can go find some. There is one, The Firekeeper's Daughter by that one. I was like, that one is banned because I just read this author's Angeline Boulet, I hope, but I read Sisters in the Wind that she just wrote, and it is so good.
I don't know either.
So good. So Sisters in the Wind, I need to look at the synopsis to make sure I don't give anything away, because there are like quite a few different rules. But basically our main character, she's 5 years in the foster system, has taught her to be cautious. But she basically learned something about her lineage at the diner she's working at, and then starts to feel like someone is following her. And that is mainly what you need to know. Then it devolves into like what was happening to her in foster care, but like it starts you at the point where she is suddenly in danger, and you don't get all the information up front. That's why I was like looking at the synopsis, because like it's one of those where you really do start off in the middle, in that like it's not until halfway through the book you get the backstory. So I didn't want to ruin it, but it is a really, really emotional and wonderful story. Like it is a thriller, but it's also like a really great kind of a family saga. It's not, because it's not it's found family. That's kind of what it is. Okay. But apparently her other book, Firekeeper's Daughter, has been banned in schools because it talks about how Native American girls and women have been treated. So
which is
that one will be on there too.
Yep. Love that. Okay. Love that.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So your writing goals is that you have a lot to write.
I have a lot to write, so
and then you want to balance it with some fun, so that you can keep doing it.
Exactly. So I need to keep on to a pretty strict writing schedule this year to try to just keep making progress on both of these projects.
Yeah.
And for me, that also means, of course, a lot of reading. So I always like set a Goodreads goal. I'm still using the Evil Empire Goodreads. Sorry.
You just have to.
But I try not to be, I'm not going to meet my goal this year, and like,
oh,
it's all right.
We'll probably no.
But like, yeah, I have been trying to also do a thing like, I used to have such a big writer crush on Ray Bradbury, and I still do a little bit. And his prescription for like making yourself a writer was every day you should read one poem, one short story, and one article about something in the world that you're interested in. And he's like, after a year, you will have stuffed yourself full of good writing, good language, and like interesting facts about the world. And so I've been trying to do a little bit more of like, I love short stories, but I struggle with short story collections because I feel like I need like a little space in between each of them.
Yeah.
So I'll go through periods where I'll try to be like, read one short story a night, because that feels a little more manageable than like I don't want to read like 100 pages of a short story collection, because it's like too, I don't know. You get like too attached to a story, and then you have to put it down.
And then like immediately starting is hard.
Yeah. And so I'm also going to be trying to do a little bit more of that, like in my prescription for stuffing myself full of things that inspire me.
Now you're making me want to do that. I need to do that. I definitely need to do that.
And I'm like, I'm probably not going to do that every night, a short story, a poem, and an article. But like, if I'm just a little more intentional and try to do a little bit more of that more consistently, that's great. Like that's still going to be a great amount of things that could inspire me or create different thoughts or different ideas for stories.
Yeah. Well, I will be doing that in some way, shape, or form. And tweaking it or whatever. Now, I feel like I just feel like I could. And I agree. Reading one short story a day. Because it's like sometimes I've even like gotten short story collections via audiobook. And so then you're like, okay, go to the next one because you're like driving. And I'm like, I don't know. It's so yeah, just doing one.
There's like a hangover, like with a short story, I find. Like I want them to be, I love them, but I can't binge them the way that I could read 100 pages of a novel and not be like, oh,
Yeah.
Have you read Kelly Link's Get in Trouble collection of short stories?
No.
Okay.
These sound good.
It is, her brain is singularly the brain that like, if I could pick to write like anyone, I would probably pick to write like her. And I cannot understand how she makes these stories work. Like I cannot understand why they work, and yet they do. It was shortlisted for the Pulitzer the year it came out. it is like, if I'm ever going to recommend any collection of short stories, it would be Get in Trouble by Kelly Link. It is like, please go read at least some of them. The first one is called The Demon Lover, and it's about this, I think the protagonist is a man who had been involved in a franchise of films that is basically like, I'm just going to tell you about it, but like, sorry, so it's going to spoil part of it, but like, basically like Twilight, like he and his co-star had been like in this series of teen heartthrob movies, and they had dated at a certain point, and now they've broken up. And like, while they dated, they had this very strange experience with this young woman that was kind of like fantastical. And now his ex-girlfriend, who used to be like his ex-star, basically like Karen or Kristen Stewart, is now doing ghost adventure tours on TV. And so like, he's kind of like burned out of his life, and he like goes down to Florida to visit her and goes on like a ghost hunting adventure. And like, it kicks up all this weird stuff from their past. And it's like, I can't even understand how she makes it. It feels like a way my brain cannot function, how she like pulls these things together and makes them work.
That.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's, I mean, this is not exactly the same, but sometimes with really, really well done world building. So really talking about like fantasy, sometimes sci-fi is the same way. Sometimes I'm like that kind of imagination. Well, I even think objectively we can say they're creating things that don't even exist in the real world. And sometimes I'm like, how did you see so many of these things?
Totally. I'm with you. And that's what her brain is like. Like there are, yeah. So it highly recommend.
$4.99 on Kindle.
If you're looking for a good short story collection,
it's going to be a part of my Ray Bradbury routine now. Yay! Buy now with one click. That's awesome. Well, mine, I'm trying to think. So, you know how I'm going to get on a soapbox again. I am so tired of the people who get angry at people who post about how many books they read. End of sentence. Also, it doesn't matter to me if you complain about people who read 5 and you're like making fun of them, or if you're making fun of people who read 100 or telling them they're lying.
Right.
I am so over all of that. And I'm not against having reading goals, and like I think they're useful, but like, for example, I read twice as many books this year as I did last year, all because of audiobooks.
Yeah.
So there's also like that whole element where I'm like, I don't even know what to set my goal for, because I like became a new reader this year, basically.
I get it.
But like, I obviously like, I want to do more like continuing ed content. I like filling in the parts of my like history knowledge for the most part, but also like society and culture are definitely part of history. So, but I am intrigued by all of that. So I definitely will be reading at least one nonfiction a month, basically, is where I'm headed with that.
Love that.
Because I do just love getting more information and then finding ways to like share it in different ways. So that would be, I don't know what my reading goal is, but I know like some of the things, you know.
I totally get that. And I'm with you. I don't like when people make fun of other people's reading goals either. It's like, it all comes down to insecurity, right? Like,
yes,
somebody read 250 books a year. That sounds great. That's not my pace.
No,
I think that's great for them. Who cares? Like, I care. The thing I care about is, are people reading? You know what I mean? I don't care what it is or how often or what, or if it's audiobook, it's all reading. Just take it in, you know?
And also they're not winning prize money. Like, they're not taking anything from you, even if they exaggerate how many books they read. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter. I hate it every single time of year. At this time of year, now that I've been on Bookstagram more for like 4 years, every time I'm like, what are your weirdo's problem? Like, this is so stupid.
Do you think it all, like, here's a weird hypothesis. Do you think it comes back to the years of, did you ever have this, like, they would have like reading and pizza competitions where if you like read a certain, like, I think it might be that like there's a small child, inside of us who's like, they're not getting more pizza than I'm getting, you know? Like,
I think you're right.
They're like,
you're right. Pizza is what got us here.
Exactly.
Oh, that's amazing. I like that take.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
One of my little, maybe this would kind of be considered a resolution, but I technically kind of started doing it already. I am going to ask for audiobooks more often when people reach out to me, because it's just the truth. Like, I am just going to point out, I don't know if I could fit this book in. However, if you can send me the audiobook, might be able to fit that in. So that I have to say no more. I'm trying not to qualify myself again, but like, when that's the other thing I'm going through, is when you get bigger and are getting more pitches,
which is great, but also
it's great. But I have to feel okay saying no, because you're allowed to. I can't. I had a spree earlier this year where I was like putting out 2 episodes on Tuesdays multiple times. I don't need
a lot. Yeah. No.
So those are the other little things I need to work into it.
I totally hear you.
I started reading more genres too. That's the other thing. Like, I don't think I'm going to read every thriller that comes out this year.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, you never can, but you know what I mean.
Never can, but we always like to think so. Yeah, I get it. I hear you. It's hard. This last year I read less than I actually think this will be the smallest number of books I've read on Goodreads since I started tracking, what I read per year. Partially because I started taking on more freelance work, and I worked on 35 manuscripts this year. I didn't have as many.
Wow. Yeah.
It was arguably too much. I didn't have as much time to, and also didn't want to read as much.
That's what I was going to say. I'm sure your brain, after reading that way.
Totally. And I'm having to try to decouple myself from being like, oh, I didn't read as many books on Goodreads as I wanted to. Yeah, but I read a lot.
You kind of did.
I just get to chart it all.
You had a couple rereads.
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
I did. There were many books that I was reading more than once. And so that's the thing. But you talked about reading a nonfiction book a month. I don't know that I'm going to put this out there as a goal, because I want to try to commit to what I say I will do, and I don't know that I can fit this in. Mm-hmm. But an idea I've had in my mind that I've wanted to do is I want to do my year of feminine rage reading. Ooh. And it may or may not be related to the Schmelection and who's leading our country right now. Mm-hmm. But I have a couple of different books that are biographies of bad bitches from ancient Rome and different stuff. And I want to read and be what lessons could one learn from these women who are not afraid to shake things up,
Amen.
So I might try to do a loose version of that where I if I'm looking for a book and not sure what to read, lean into my feminine rage backlist.
It helps. It helps to see how other people dealt with oppressive circumstances. And I'm a white woman. I'm not oppressed, but I am a little bit. And in general, this administration is oppressive. That's
100%. We are not the most oppressed group in America. There is plenty of work to be done, and we are currently backsliding on women's rights pretty hard across the board. And I'm not interested in that. So
yes, I am not. Are most of them fiction, or are they most nonfiction?
I have both.
You have both? So I have to recommend I, Medusa, which is right up here by Ayana Gray. Oh, it's so good.
Yes, I'm all about that. So yes, Medusa, love it. Medea, while we're at it, let's kill some kids. Let's not use that as a separate soundbite to
it really sometimes it helps. That's where I was going to. Fiction and nonfiction. You can come away from it oh, I am not the only person to have gone through this. Ryan Holiday actually had a really good rant. One of his posts, I think it was, I can't remember. It was after another devastating thing in the news. And he was you think you're the first person to live through politically trying times. Right. You think you're the first person to lose your rights in real time.
Not even on this, not even happening right now, right? That's the whole myth of American exceptionalism, but yes, this is happening in other countries and has been happening in other countries all the time. And we're but it couldn't happen here. Mm-hmm. As if
and then it starts to happen.
Subjugation and stripping people of rights. And
and then and I know sometimes some people are and there's time and place. If someone needed support and to hold space for how much that's freaking them out, especially if you're not white and ICE is occupying your town, like you hold space for that person.
Absolutely.
In the context of what he was saying, that's the part that sometimes helps me remember, like, no, there are other people who've gone through this. And so when I had a couple moments in 2025 where all of a sudden I was starting to freak out a little bit and like was kind of feeling like the what do I talk about? Or like the ground was getting ripped out from under me, and I was like, do I even know how to discern who is a good person anymore and like what is happening? That happens. And then books are what helped, because you can experience all these experiences, whether they're fiction or nonfiction, where you resonate with something and you're like, no, there have always been the people too who are like, I'm not doing this just because everybody else is. So I always get kind of like fortified by those stories.
I totally agree. And I do think like culture and what's happening are intertwined, right? And like we have been seeing the last couple of years a shift in culture towards more conservative things. Like there's less sex in movies, there's less sex in books, there's like, you know, the rise of the trad wife and all these different things, all of which I understand and I have participated in to various degrees. I watch those goddamn Mormon TikTok wives. Like I am part of the problem, you know, like I'm platforming them. But like
they're cautionary as hell, right?
They are. Right. There's so little pleasure in this life. Let me watch them. But at the same time, I'm also like, I am aware on some level that like we're seeing that on TV mainstreamed in a way that is very different than like what we would have seen 10 years ago. And I think that like one of the ways for me that I want to push back on some of that is like keeping what I'm ingesting more extreme, you know, than what we're seeing, like, you know, like more feminine rage, more stuff. And there's plenty of that out there. And like more, you know, your point, like a lot of books from diverse points of view, like trying to remind myself that just because we're seeing certain things happening in the culture doesn't mean that that has to be what I take in.
And it doesn't have to mean it's going to be like this forever, is like the other nice thing. Like I just finished one called We Refuse, A Forceful History of Black Resistance by Kelly Carter Jackson. And I'm trying to find my review, because what is cool is the book is basically 5 chapters about different ways that you can refuse in a system like that. And it's revolution, protection, force, flight, and joy. So she talks about how all of those can be acts of resistance against like a culture that feels, you know, oppressive. And I loved this book, and it was kind of reminding me, when I read Parable of the Sower at the beginning of the year, I was like, wow, she really called that out, like all of it. There's, for anyone who hasn't, there's literally a president running on Make America Great Again. The climate's getting worse. There's a lot of crazy stuff that she predicted in 1976 when she was writing it. So I was like, wow, she knew what was going on. And kind of after I read that, I was like, but of course, those who have had to be the most hyper vigilant in our culture are the ones who were, even then, were like, here are the patterns. Here's what I'm seeing. And of course, she kind of ends up being right.
Right.
So then
100%.
We Refuse made me feel the same way, where it was like hearing how resourceful, that's the other thing. Like, I feel like I can also learn about how to exist in this, sadly, from Black nonfiction and history books, because like they have had to figure out how to navigate much worse stuff, basically.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And like, to your point, when you were talking about like the surprise that I think people have felt about like things that are going, like, I think you're right. I think more marginalized communities are not surprised, because they're like, it's been like this for us who enjoyed a level of
neighbor dog got mad.
Neighbor dog was like
angry about inequality. Yeah.
That like, you know, it should not be a shock to progressive white people that this is happening, because it's like, yeah, the writing's been on the board, you know, like it is but I, you know, so I think that's like such a good observation. And like, even to your point, like Parable of the Sower, like, was she anticipating something to come, or is she just reading that like this is America, you know, and was America in the 1970s and still is? We are always hearkening back to this idea of a better time we had that has now eluded us. And it's like, that better time, for whom was that a better time? You know, like for whom? A very small percentage.
Yeah, it was not everybody.
And like also they didn't have toilet paper. Do we really want to make America great again?
Exactly. Like, okay, let's get rid of your antibiotics. Like, there's a lot of stuff. Well, I guess they are doing that. Fuck.
They are actually. They're on that. They
I walked myself right into dystopia.
You're like, oh, right. That is part of the hellscape. Yeah.
No.
Oh God.
Well, you can find hope in the people who have fought back previously.
Oh God.
But also, I hope in 2026 everything's magical, you know? Like we're talking about these. They're in 2026 now.
They're in 2026. Who knows? Maybe a lot of good stuff has happened in the next 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, you never know.
You never know.
Do you have any? I don't know if I have any other. I don't know.
Those were my big ones, you know, and I like to keep them. I don't ever want my goals or aspirations to be things that I like wind up hitting myself over the head about for like not having achieved, you know? So always for me, I like dance between wanting to be intentional and thoughtful and also like not being so rigid about a goal that you like somehow feel like you failed yourself when it's like, okay, we read, you know, 50 books instead of 80.
Yeah.
Is that bad? Like that's not bad, you know? So
those
are
reading at all.
What'd you say?
I said most people aren't reading at all. So
totally. And isn't it about like, I don't know, to your point, like enjoyment and bringing more things into your life that you like?
Yes.
And not, you know, that's, I think, the core that we're speaking to here.
Mm-hmm. Yep. In with the good shit, out with the bullshit.